Hey there, fellow Americans. If you've been following the latest political developments, you won't believe what former President Donald Trump just announced about his potential stimulus strategy for March 2025. This could be a game changer for millions of Social Security and SSDI recipients across the nation. Before we dive deep into this breaking news, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications to stay updated on the latest financial news and stimulus updates that could impact your wallet. In a recent rally that's got everyone talking, Trump unveiled his ambitious plan for a massive stimulus package targeting Social Security and SSDI beneficiaries. The proposed $5,800 checks are making waves across political circles and giving hope to millions of Americans who've been struggling with rising inflation and mounting living costs. But what exactly does this mean for you, and how likely is it to become a reality? The proposed stimulus strategy is part of Trump's broader economic vision for his potential return to office. According to his team, the plan aims to provide immediate financial relief to some of America's most vulnerable populations while simultaneously stimulating the economy. The $5,800 figure wasn't pulled out of thin air. It's reportedly calculated based on current inflation rates and the increased cost of living that Social Security recipients have faced in recent years. But here's where things get interesting. How would this massive stimulus package be funded? Trump's economic advisors claim they've identified several funding sources, including redirecting foreign aid and implementing new trade policies. They argue that by restructuring international trade agreements and reducing foreign spending, the administration could generate sufficient funds to support this domestic initiative without adding to the national debt. But is this really feasible? Let's break down who would be eligible for these stimulus checks. The plan specifically targets Social Security retirement beneficiaries, SSDI recipients, and SSI beneficiaries. This means if you're currently receiving any of these benefits, you could potentially qualify for the full $5,800 payment. But what about household income limits? Would there be a phase-out threshold like previous stimulus programs? The timing of this announcement is particularly noteworthy. With March 2025 set as the target date, many are wondering why this specific timeframe was chosen. Economic analysts suggest this timeline allows for proper legislative groundwork and budget allocation, assuming Trump wins the 2024 election. But what happens if there's a different election outcome? Would these plans still have a chance of materializing? One of the most discussed aspects of this proposal is its potential economic impact. Financial experts are divided on whether such a large-scale stimulus would help or hurt the economy in the long run. Some argue that injecting billions into the hands of Social Security recipients would provide a much-needed boost to local economies, as this demographic tends to spend rather than save their benefits. Others worry about the inflationary pressures such a move might create. The proposal has also sparked debates about the long-term sustainability of Social Security. Would this one-time payment affect regular Social Security benefits? Trump's team insists this would be entirely separate from the standard Social Security program and wouldn't impact regular monthly payments. But how would this massive expenditure affect the government's ability to fund future Social Security obligations? Critics of the plan point to potential implementation challenges. The Social Security Administration, SSA, would need significant resources and time to distribute such payments effectively. Remember the delays and complications with previous stimulus distributions? What measures would be put in place to ensure a smoother process this time around? Another interesting aspect is the international reaction to this proposal. Global markets are closely watching these developments, as such a large domestic stimulus could have ripple effects worldwide. How would our trading partners respond to the proposed funding methods, especially if they involve significant changes to international trade agreements? The political implications of this announcement cannot be ignored. Is this a campaign strategy to secure the senior vote, or does it represent a genuine shift in Republican economic policy? The proposal has already created divisions within both major parties, with some Democrats surprisingly supporting aspects of the plan while certain Republicans express concerns about the cost. Looking at the numbers more closely, the total cost of this stimulus package would be substantial. With approximately 70 million Social Security beneficiaries in the United States, the program could cost upwards of $400 billion. How would this affect other government programs and initiatives? Would other social services face budget cuts to accommodate this massive expenditure? The proposal also includes provisions for expedited distribution. Trump's team claims they've learned from previous stimulus rollouts and have developed a more efficient distribution system. But what exactly would this system look like? Would direct deposits be the primary method, or would recipients have options for how they receive their payments? An interesting component of the plan involves state cooperation. The proposal suggests working closely with state agencies to ensure proper distribution and prevent fraud. But how would this federal-state coordination work in practice? Would states need to allocate additional resources to support this initiative? The impact on local economies could be significant. Small businesses, particularly in areas with high concentrations of Social Security recipients, could see substantial increases in customer spending. But would this create temporary or lasting economic benefits? How might local governments prepare for this potential influx of spending? Healthcare considerations are also part of the discussion. Many Social Security and SSDI recipients face significant medical expenses. Would this stimulus help address the growing healthcare costs this population faces? Some advocates argue the amount should be higher to account for medical inflation specifically. The proposal includes provisions for appeal processes for those who might be wrongly excluded. But how would these appeals be handled? What documentation would be required, and how long would the appeal process take? These are crucial questions that need answering before implementation. Consumer advocacy groups are already mobilizing to ensure their constituents' interests are protected. They're asking important questions about protections against scams and fraud, which often target Social Security recipients. What safeguards would be put in place to protect vulnerable recipients from fraud? The role of financial institutions in distributing these payments would be crucial. Banks and credit unions would need to prepare for processing millions of large deposits simultaneously. How would they handle this logistical challenge? Would there be any special provisions for those without bank accounts? Environmental groups have raised questions about the stimulus's indirect effects on climate initiatives. Would funding this program affect green energy investments or environmental protection budgets? How might this massive spending program align with climate goals? The proposal's timing relative to other economic policies is also significant. How would this stimulus coordinate with other potential economic initiatives? Would it complement or compete with other proposed programs? Looking at historical precedents, previous large-scale stimulus programs have had mixed results. What lessons from past stimulus efforts are being incorporated into this plan? How would this program differ from previous stimulus initiatives? The international community is watching closely, as U.S. economic policies often have global implications. How might this massive domestic stimulus affect international markets and currency exchange rates? Would it influence global economic policies? As we approach the potential implementation date, many questions remain unanswered. Will Congress support such a large stimulus package? How might the 2024 election results affect these plans? What alternatives might emerge if this specific proposal doesn't move forward? Remember, staying informed about these developments is crucial for anyone receiving Social Security or SSDI benefits. Keep following our channel for the latest updates on this developing story. We'll continue to analyze new information as it becomes available and bring you expert insights on how these changes might affect your financial future. Don't forget to like this video and hit that subscribe button to stay updated on all the latest news regarding this potential stimulus package and other important financial updates. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think this stimulus proposal will become reality? How would it affect your financial situation? Let's keep this important conversation going. This is a developing story, and we'll be monitoring it closely. Remember to turn on notifications to receive immediate updates as new information becomes available about this potentially game-changing stimulus proposal.